What's up YouTube, this is Todd Smith and I'm back with another video. This video, we're going to talk about the Roland Boutiques. Which one's the best? I imagine we all have various opinions and various thoughts on which one's the best. I currently own 3 of them. I've touched a few others in shops. I was able to touch all the drum machine variations they've released and a JX. I'm going to kind of give my opinion on what I've touched and what I have at home and say what I feel is the best current Roland Boutique. Just before I start the video, I haven't touched the kind of newer SEO2, one of the newer all analog boutiques. It's highly rated. The videos sound amazing. If I had touched that one, there's a possibility it could end up as the best, but I haven't touched it. So if you have that one, drop your feelings on the SEO2 in the comments below. Love to hear it. All right, let's go a little over my experiences with the boutiques in general that I own that I've really got to get personal with. We'll start with the deepest of the first gen boutiques, the JP08. That thing is really unique. The dual mode is unique, and I've never really seen it in any other synth. If there is another synth with it, feel free to tell me. I've never seen it. It's really cool that you're able to have 2 separate sounds panned to each speaker, hard panned, and have different filters and different LFOs and different parameters for each pan. And it makes some really, really lush and awesome sounds. That with the 2 oscillators and the complexity of the envelopes and LFO modulation routes, it gives you a really nice, flexible, deep machine that you can really sit and create various amounts of sounds on. With all that being said, it is also the hardest to work with alone. It is small. It is very, very small in the point of its sliders. You really need it in the right position to really manipulate this thing live efficiently. Otherwise, it's hard to keep it in the sweet spot because it's so small. If you link this up to a MIDI controller and control it with bigger sliders and bigger knobs, starts to feel a little bit better, but you must do some mapping at that point. I just have it on a nice stand from Mike Smith in Synth and Wood. I'll put a link in the video below. In this stand, in this position, it's perfect for me to play live, and I can keep sweet spots, and it's a lot better than when it was flat. I'm going to say that. Having it vertical up and in a nice position where you can access it comfortably is important for the JP08. The JU06 is a little bit more simple in nature. I really use it for a lot of low end, a lot of bass. It's a monster on the bass, but it goes well beyond bass. On the high end, it's absolutely amazing. I love the fact that the sub oscillator is on a slider, so you can drop your sub down to make really thin leads and then bring your sub in to thicken them up. And with filter changes and everything else that's going on, you can really do some really nice live manipulation with the JU06 on the high end too. So I really, really wanted to get a second JU06. I was using the JU06 so much on the low end, I was like, oh man, I want a second one for the high end. But as you know, they eventually got cut, and the prices on the JU06 have actually gone up to $500 or so. So I kind of held on getting a second one to see what they would release in the future. The JU06 is a little bit more simple than the JP08, as you can see with the sliders and how many there are, but the simplicity actually fits the form factor a lot better in the sense that the sliders feel good and everything is small but doesn't feel crammed to me, unlike the JP08 does feel crammed. So the simplicity actually works in its benefit for this form factor, that's for sure. And then also the simplicity works great for sounds, and that's the reason why the Juno was such a sought-after synth, is because it was simple but effective. And the simplicity when you're on stage, when you're making music, is really effective and really important to you, because if you have something that's simple but sounds great, you can't really get much better than that in the live situation. You're not overthinking, but it sounds amazing. And I really think that's why the Juno captured a generation, was Roland was able to mix sound quality with simplicity in such a perfect form factor. And this is the closest you're going to get to it in modern form. And as I said, it can do bass, it can do high ends, it can do pads, it can do weird sounds, it can do whatever you want from this thing. So I wanted it again, and as it went out of print, so when I saw the SH01A come out, it was pretty much a no-brainer to me, because it was something a little different than the JU06, but it treaded upon the same ground. Now I can use the JU on the low end and the SH on the high end, or vice versa, because they're very similar. They both can do amazing high end and amazing low end. On top of that, the SH01A brought in an increased step sequencer up to 100 steps, an ARP, which was very heavily bashed on the first gen Boutique line for not having ARPs. You have a hold function, and those three things are really, really big for performance. Having the hold, the ARP, and 100 step internal sequencer, that's a big step up in the spec game of the Boutiques. And that might be the reason why I'm saying these new Boutiques might just be the best. Just because they're giving you that hold, they're giving you that ARP, they're giving you that 100-step sequencer. I don't know if that all applies to all the new Boutiques. Feel free to tell me if the new digital Boutique is 100 steps. Is this the new norm for Boutiques? Because if it is, that's impressive. They're definitely nailing out a lot of the little checkpoints that people were like, oh, but it doesn't have this. Oh, but it doesn't have that. I feel the SH01A really took the old Boutique, the original Boutique idea. They listened to the feedback on what it was missing, and they brought it in to the SH01A. I would definitely recommend the SH01A because of the extended sequencer, the ARP, and the hold, which I will be doing deeper videos on the SH01A, the JU06, and the JP08 in the future. I also plan on getting the D05 and the SE02. So my Boutique journey is not over. So as of right now, SH01A, my favorite Boutique. The JU06 is like right there too. The only reason why I give the SH a little bit more thumbs up is because the inner specs and the hold and the ARP and those little things they were able to add, because it was a newer generation. They were able to, I believe, learn and adapt to the criticism that they got. That's my opinion. What's your opinion? Leave it down below. Thank you very much for watching. Love you, YouTube. Have a great day.